This is the Oscar winner from 1975, Best Picture, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I've got some pictures of the packaging here as well. Warner Brothers is putting this one out. It released on last Tuesday, I think was November 11, and they put out two versions, a steelbook that you see on the left and the standard version that you see on the right. And the steelbook, actually, both of these have kind of weird cover art, and I've seen a lot of people complain about the cover art for these, and Warner Brothers is famous for doing bad cover art in recent years, but I have to say that this movie has never had a great poster or good cover art or key art ever, and I dare say that these two covers are actually probably the best it's ever had. So I don't mind the artwork, but I did opt for the steelbook version because I'm a collector and I love steelbooks. I don't care what other people say. There are a lot of haters out there, but I love them. That's what it looks like when you open it up and look at the front and back, and that's what it looks like. You get to see all of the cuckoos in therapy there. It has some new special features, two short, like Zoom calls. It's a Zoom call with Michael Douglas, who produced the movie. He was a producer before he was an actor. And it's also got Christopher Lloyd, Danny DeVito, and Brad Dourif. So the four of them reminisce over two short featurettes. One's 13 minutes, one's 10 minutes. And those were fun. I watched those because I'd never seen them before. These four guys are really getting up there in age, so something tells me this could be one of the last times that they speak out in any kind of significant way on this film. A lot of the other people who participated in this movie have passed away, including Louise Fletcher, who won the Oscar as Nurse Ratched. It also has a really long feature-length documentary called Completely Cuckoo. And if you have a previous edition of this movie that contained a 45-minute making of, just know that that 45-minute making of on your old edition is actually an abbreviated version of this Completely Cuckoo feature-length documentary. So you're not missing anything. You're actually getting an expanded version of that older documentary. It was made in 1997, and there's also some deleted scenes. It does not have the commentary track with Milos Forman. For some reason, older editions have that commentary track, so if you do upgrade, you might want to hold on to that old edition if you value that commentary track with Milos, because he passed away and he ain't going to be doing no more commentary tracks on this movie. Picture-wise, this movie is not a revelation. It's a movie from the 70s. It's a very grainy-looking film, but it looks good. It's true. It's accurate to what that film is supposed to look like. I've seen some other people cry about the black levels not being that good, and that there being a lot of noise in the dark parts of the image. None of that detracted from my experience when I watched it just last night. The sound is, they have a 5.1 track, and it's totally serviceable. It's not very immersive at very many times. There may be 3 or 4 times I noticed sounds going past me in my home theater, but it's not the kind of movie that you need that kind of thing for. This movie has fine sound with its 5.1, and it's got good picture quality. It's the best the movie's ever probably looked or sounded. So I recommend getting one of these new 4K versions, either the Steelbook or the Standard Edition, if you value this film as I do, as I think this is a very excellent film. It won 5 Oscars: Best Picture, Director for Milos Forman, Best Actor for Jack Nicholson, Best Actress in a Leading Role for Louise Fletcher. For some reason, I thought she won supporting, but it was leading. And it also won for Adapted Screenplay. It was based on a play, and I think the play might also have been based on a book, but I could be wrong about that. In addition to those awards, it was also nominated for Brad Dourif's supporting performance as Billy, Haskell Wexler and Bill Butler's cinematography. It was nominated for film editing, which I think in a film like this, when there's such a large ensemble and so much of what you're getting is in reaction shots, the editing is a very substantial contribution. And it was also nominated for Best Score by Jack Nicholson. And it's kind of a weird little score, and I don't know why the Academy loved Jack Nicholson back in the day, but they did, and they nominated him. IMDb has a great summary for this movie if you've never seen it. A rebellious convict, Jack Nicholson, is sent to a psychiatric hospital for evaluation in 1963 Oregon, and encourages his docile companions, to take more control of their lives and defy the tyrannical head nurse, Nurse Ratched, played by Louise Fletcher. This film, if it wasn't the very first movie that these actors were in, it was one of the first, and it certainly launched all of their careers. It's got Christopher Lloyd as one of the people in the group. Trying to think of a nice PC thing to call this. I don't want to say nut house. What's a nice term for nut house, Dave? I can't think of one. The asylum,
hospital.
The hospital. Let's say
State
hospital.
Yeah.
Yes, this the hospital. There we go.
A mental facility.
Yes. It's got Christopher Lloyd and it's got Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is the only one, I think, who actually played his part on Broadway in the play version, and Milos Forman didn't see any reason to cast another actor after he saw Danny. It's a weird little role for Danny DeVito. He mostly just says yes, but he's like really peculiar. He's like in the moment. They all are. And it's also got Brad Dourif, who really became big, especially amongst horror fans over the years. Mm-hmm. And he got an Oscar nomination for this role as Billy, the youngest person in this group of characters. It's also got Vincent Schiavelli. And right there you see Will Sampson, who plays Chief, this Native American who is pretending to be deaf and mute. Basically, Jack Nicholson at the beginning of the movie, you're not sure if he's pretending to be quote-unquote crazy because he doesn't want to do hard labor during his prison sentence. People tell him they think he's faking it so he doesn't have to work hard. But the movie also kind of gives you a little bit of indication here and there that maybe he's not really well. He says early in the film that he fights too much and he screws too much. He thinks that's his problem. So to that extent, I kind of read the movie as being, at least for his character and maybe for Christopher Lloyd's, that they're not really mentally unstable. They're just like toxic masculinity. They're just like they fight and they screw too much. You know, they're too testosteroned up.
Nobody does crazy like Jack Nicholson. Do you think that this typecast him? Do you think this movie typecast him, or do you think that this is just how he is?
No, I think before this movie he'd never really showed this side of himself. But this movie kind of launched that whole Jack Nicholson unleashed. Yeah. Wild-eyed, crazy-eyed, manic.
Like, do you think that if we had never had Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, do you think we would have had Jack Nicholson as the Joker in Batman?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Probably not, because this movie, I think more than any other... I mean, Easy Rider was kind of a big deal, but I think this one really announced to the world who Jack Nicholson was and what he was capable of, and also our favorite shade of Jack Nicholson, because he would do other kinds of films that required other kinds of performances, but this is the Jack we all want.
This is the Jack we all want.
And he deserves his Oscar that he won for this one. I think he won 3 Oscars by the time he passed away, at least 2. But in any case, I really enjoy this movie because it's writing and acting. The director, Milos Forman, really just kind of stays out of the way. And he really encouraged a lot of like rehearsal. And these actors say in some of the behind the scenes material that they all stayed in character the whole time. And they loved it. They just had a blast. They shot in real locations. They weren't sound stages. Michael Douglas says he was too stupid as a producer to realize they could have shot all this on a soundstage. But by shooting it in a real location, they slept in this hospital at night. So they were in it night and day, day by day, week by week until the movie was done. And they really just started to feel their characters. A couple of the doctors at the hospital even said that they thought a couple of these cast members actually should be in the hospital.
Yeah, that would be a hard pass for me. That'd be a hard no.
You don't want to stay overnight at the
I don't.
Psychiatric hospital.
Oh man, I'd love that.
Of course you would.
Oh, Ben.
Oh, Ben.
And Louise Fletcher's character is a very interesting one because she doesn't say a whole lot to really make it point blank obvious that she's a villain. There's just a couple of things that happen where you're like, is she doing this on purpose? Is she really trying to play? Is she in control of these guys as like a power trip? or is she actually thinking she's doing the right thing? I think there's enough ambiguity with her and with Nicholson's character that you really kind of are guessing the whole time, and I like that about the movie. I think it's a sad movie. I know Dave is not a fan of the depressing nature of the movie, but
it brings me no joy. I will say that.
I kind of got a perverse joy.
Then it would have to be a perverse one, because I appreciate it on all other levels, but this movie it's consistent with a lot of other movies from the 70s in that it's very stark and bleak and sometimes minimalistic, But yeah, it brings me no joy at all.
I mean, these clips seem to reflect perverse joy. I haven't seen it, but if I had to put that
it gets progressively darker.
Yeah, I think Ben would love it. I think he'd be all over it.
I think so too. I'm going to spoil it. So first, Nurse Ratched, when Jack Nicholson goes too far and like has some hookers come to the I keep wanting to call it asylum. I'm sorry for that. Psychiatric hospital one night, and Billy, Brad Dourif's character, loses his virginity. That's a bridge too far for her. And the next morning, when she finds out that Billy had sex with a hooker on the floor in the ward, she threatens to tell his mom about it, and he's a suicide risk. You learn very early in the movie, and he kills himself, offs himself, unalives himself. I forgot our rules here on YouTube. He unalives himself. And that pushes Jack Nicholson over the edge to attack her. And after that, he'd already earlier in the film been electrocuted. Like they put things on his head and they electrocute him for acting
shock therapy. Yeah.
Electric shock therapy. And that's a scary scene that feels very real. But they go further and they lobotomize him at the end of this movie. So you're wondering, was it worth it for him? If he was really not quote unquote crazy, if he was just pretending to be so he could get out of hard labor, look how it turned out for him. But he's got a relationship with this Will Sampson character, Chief, throughout the movie. And it's a real sweet relationship. That's the heart of the movie, I think, for me, is the relationship between Jack Nicholson's character, they call him McMurphy, I think, and the Will Sampson character, Chief, because it's largely unspoken, but halfway through the movie, Chief speaks privately to Jack and kind of blows him away. He's like, oh my gosh, you've been pretending the whole time. And you kind of get the impression that they've both been pretending. And Chief is the ultimate hero of the movie because he smothers Jack Nicholson in his sleep when they bring him back after the lobotomy, because he doesn't want Jack Nicholson to suffer a vegetable for the rest of his life. So he smothers him, and then he does what Jack Nicholson tried to do earlier in the film. He picks this big heavy object up and he throws it at a window and he runs away. So to me, it is sad that Jack Nicholson got what he got, but I'm also not sure he was a true hero. He is kind of an inspirational figure to these guys because he teaches them that they don't have to just sit in a ward like this and rot away. They can try to have a life at the same time. But Chief got away. I thought that was a happy ending. It wasn't that depressing for me because of that.
It's a happy ending by 1970s standards.
By 70s standards. So I think it's a haunting film. And I think it raises questions like, are these people really crazy? Some of them probably need to be there and some of them maybe don't. Some of them seem a little bit normal to me, and maybe they don't need treatment. And is the treatment actually good for them? Like electroshock and lobotomy? I mean, we know that stuff is bad now, but they were doing it apparently within just the last 60, 70 years. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I was very compelled by this. I found it a very compelling film. It moved me, and I thought it was extraordinarily well done. And for that reason, I give it a 10. I think it's a masterpiece. Oh. So if you've never seen it before, check it out. Or if you're Dave and you don't love it so much, do you want to give it a score, Dave, or do you want to abstain?
I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I'm not gonna harsh your buzz. So I'm gonna
can.
I mean, I think it deserves your 10. I think personally, I would give it a 6, but I think it deserves your 10. So
well, a 6 is good. It's not great, but it's good. Like, so I don't think that's bad. We can agree to disagree on things, Dave. It's allowed.
I need to see it. Like I said, I guess it's one of my dad's favorites. He's always like quoting like the nurse Ratchet thing, or calling nurses Nurse Ratchet, like that, like the dentist office. But yeah, he's a big Jack Nicholson fan. He has this framed picture of Jack Nicholson smoking a cigar or something, like at his hunting cabin, and there's a quote on it, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's like, "I am what I am. Your approval isn't needed," something like that.
I think that's from the movie. I think I remember.
Yeah,
that.
I think so. But yeah, he would have been about 20 when this movie came out. So.
Oh my gosh! If I'd seen this when I was 20, it might have made a really big difference. But I caught it when I was much older on home video.